everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, June 12th, 2024. Oh, snap. Alan's gonna have a twin brother. Now this is exciting. So we're gonna have 3 Ashleys plus 2 Allens? I didn't know there was gonna be math this week, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to keep track of all of this. My brain has gone to France. I was just like, ooh, Paris is lovely this time of year. Thank you, Y&R, for taking us on vacation. I think we deserve it. Oh my goodness. I don't know how I feel about the green screens, you guys. My opinion might be shifting. I don't know. I feel like we're using this technique a lot right now. Last week we had the digital background roller coaster, and this week we had the digital background Paris. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. Every time I see it, it feels a little jarring, a little out of place. It seems a little cheap, a little dorky. But I don't know. I guess it's better than nothing. I'm just old school. My bigger appreciation will always be for the sets. And what am I complaining about? Because this week we had 2 new sets. You know that makes me happy. First of all, Ashley's Parisian apartment. This fills in so many blanks for me because think about all the time that she's been off screen in Paris, and now we know that this is what her little nook looks like. This is where she was all that time, and I'm just fascinated by that. Like, she walked right in and she expressed, this is home, this is my apartment, and I'm like, oh wow, this is Ashley's apartment that we never see. It just felt like a new personality of Ashley's in a way. Oh, the apartment. And then the second new set that we had was Audra's hotel room, which was my favorite because of the decor. The gold and white. Yes, please. And oh my gosh, Audra looked so beautiful on that set. It was almost like they designed the set around her because she was also wearing that gorgeous white slinky gown, and she just looked like a goddess. She's got to be the most beautiful woman on the show right now, and every time she's there, I'm just staring at her in awe. Does People magazine still do their most beautiful people list? Because I feel like she should be on it. But I digress. Because although Audra is very beautiful and she looked very beautiful in her new beautiful Parisian hotel room set, I definitely don't agree with Audra's actions right now. Going to battle with Tucker over Glissade seems like a really big overreaction to what happened between them. And also, it feels like more fake business drama that never really materializes. Because I have no connection to Glissade. They have no products. They have no offices. I haven't even seen a logo on a folder. So why should I care about Glissade? I don't. The only reason I care at all is because I care about Tucker. And yet at the same time, I do see Audra's perspective, because I think that Audra was really only asking Tucker for the same thing that Diane was asking Jack for this week, to be number one in their partner's life. And I think that's totally reasonable. And I think that Tucker could have handled Audra better. And I think he would have had a better outcome. The whole thing that set this off was the fact that they were scheduled to go on Paris vacation together. And then Devon comes up and throws Tucker one little crumb of hope for their relationship. And then Tucker canceled the Parisian trip on her, which doesn't even seem necessary. Why? Why did he do that? What needed to be done in Genoa City that couldn't wait? All he did on Devon's behalf was talk to Diane to see if Billy might be coming back to Gibeau anytime soon. Well, that could have been done through a text from Paris. And then he just ends up in Paris 2 weeks later. So why not give Audra the attention? I don't know. I don't know why he made that decision. And I also don't know why she's making the decision that she's making. It seems also very big and overblown to me. But I am looking forward to next week's twin twist. And that preview that we saw for the twin twist on Friday made the whole weird run-in between Tucker and Alan on the green screen streets of Paris make more sense. That suddenly made more sense because Tucker and Alan were super friendly with each other in Genoa City, but then they bump into each other on the street in Paris, and Alan acted like he didn't even know who Tucker was. And maybe now we know it's because it wasn't even Alan. It was Alan number 2. Alan the second. Will Alan the second have a southern accent or some kind of fun multiple personality of his own? I am so glad that Jack finally came around to the understanding that he was going to lose his wife if he continued to be Nikki's sponsor. The whole situation, the whole dynamic between Nikki and Jack had become so destructive that I'm surprised that Nikki would even ask him to be her sponsor again, and that he would agree. All week, I was totally supporting Diane in putting her foot down with him. She was even willing to walk away from their marriage, or at least that's what she said. And I think she was ultimately using the same tactic on Jack that Jack used on Nikki. I'm going to go nuclear and let you feel the repercussions of your actions, and maybe that will jog some sense into you. Brilliant, Diane. And it was just so easy for me to put myself into Diane's shoes. I understood her perspective right away because, yeah, no doubt, if my husband was sponsoring his ex-wife in her recovery and it caused him to relapse on a drug addiction that I never even knew he had, then yeah, I would be putting my foot down too. But even on the flip side of that, if I was in Jack's shoes and my wife was telling me enough is enough, I really don't think that it would have taken me nearly as long as it took Jack to come around on the idea. Because if something I'm doing is negatively impacting my spouse and endangering my marriage and endangering my family and my whole life, then I am done with it. No questions asked. That should have been a wake-up call for Jack, too. But Jack came around to it. And I'm glad, but I worry that the damage is done and that Diane and Jack are on shaky ground, and I worry that they're not going to recover, because suddenly now Diane really seems to be questioning the stability of her marriage, and both Victor and Michael this week were able to sow some extra seeds of doubt in her mind. I mean, Victor, I thought maybe she would be able to write off. There's always a manipulation behind Victor's actions. But I did like that Diane confessed that he still gets to her. He just has that way about him. He just has that way. And that thing that he says just sort of plants itself into your mind, and now you can't unhear it. And Victor told her, you don't think it's odd that your husband and my wife were alone and sweet together, hammered? And then Michael had a conversation with Diane also, and seemed to go out of his way to warn Diane about Nikki and Jack's deep connection that goes back years and years, and you shouldn't dismiss that. And I don't know, Nikki seemed to immediately understand when Jack had to take back his agreement to sponsor her again. And Nikki said that she is not setting out in any way to make problems for him or for his wife, who she clearly has had problems with in the past. And I believe Nikki. I think she doesn't want to cause any trouble at all. But I don't think there's any romance brewing between Jack and Nikki. So, I don't get that vibe at all. But I guess that doesn't mean that, Nikki's not going to want to be still leaning on Jack. She may have accepted that he's not going to be her sponsor anymore. But that doesn't mean that she can't still be talking to him all the time and being his friend all the time. And can Diane really say anything in an objection to Nikki and Jack just being friends? Because if she does, then it just comes off as insecurity. So I don't know. I'm worried about Diane and Jack. But I don't think that Diane necessarily needs to be worried about Nikki. Clearly, who Diane needs to be worried about at this point is Kyle. She needs to be worried about her own son. Especially now that the Cookie Monster, aka the great and powerful Victor Newman, has decided to tell Kyle that he should have Diane's job. Oh, a little bit of reinforcement there for Kyle. A little bit of seeds planted by Victor. Diane. Again, her life was perfect a couple of months ago, and now it's just blown up on all fronts. So Diane, stop focusing on Nikki and start focusing on Kyle, and just let Nikki focus on Nikki. I think Nikki is going to have an uphill battle ahead of her still. And the question is, how stable is she really? Especially now knowing that Jordan is alive. I think she may have come out of rehab a little too soon. And I was thinking, too, aren't most rehabs 30 days? Don't you go for 30 days? This rehab kept Nikki for a week and then said, okay, you're good. Bye. Victor fired Michael this week, and Michael's response was, it's fine. It's not the first time, and it's probably not the last. I'm sure that Victor will end up changing his tune the next time he needs a brilliant attorney to do something for him. And really, what did Victor fire Michael for? Being a good friend who was looking out for him and making good decisions when he wasn't making good decisions for himself? I think Michael is a good friend, and Victor should appreciate that. I think Michael made the point to Victor about Jordan that really impacted Victor and changed his mind. What Michael said to Victor was, So what happens when Nikki stumbles upon your little secret passageway the way that Cole did, and then Nikki finds out that you've been keeping Jordan in her own basement, in your own private zoo? What happens then? And I think that was really a turning point for Victor, because I don't think that Victor cared about going to jail, and I certainly don't think he cared about the humanity of it all. But what if Nikki found out by chance? That would have been a real disaster for him and for her. So Victor and Cole went to the Genoa City Home Depot. Shout out Naomi. This is her joke, not mine, but I'm going to deliver it. Victor and Cole went to the Genoa City Home Depot to pick up some cinder blocks, and they walled up that cage so that no one would ever find it. I couldn't help but notice that Cole did most of the heavy lifting. Cole was the one dragging those blocks around with one hand. And Michael sure wasn't down for the physical labor part of it all. Michael must have been like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I just had a manicure. Victor and Cole, you guys are going to have to get this. You're on your own. But yes, very, very dramatic scene of Victor and Cole laying up the bricks or the cinder blocks and walling up the cage. I really loved that, and I really felt that, and it felt final. It just had this very dramatic final, like almost like burying someone has that feeling of finality, like, well, that's over now, that period is over now. That's how I felt when they were blocking up the cage. They didn't even bother to clean the cage, which I think is super gross. They still had Jordan's trash in there. There was Kleenexes and water bottles and Brussels sprouts, and I don't know what the plumbing situation is with the toilet and the sink, but they just walled it up. They didn't ask any questions. They didn't unhook anything. Just put a wall over it. No one will ever know what's behind this cinder block wall. But yes, they walled up the cage, but not before letting Jordan out and chloroforming her yet again. We've had like 3 chloroformings lately. Victor chloroformed Jordan twice. Jordan chloroformed Claire once. That's just, there's a chloroform haze on this town right now. So Victor chloroformed Jordan, and then I guess dragged her out to the beach, the bridge where she was said to be last seen, and he pretended that his men just found her there. Like, they just found her there. She didn't have hypothermia or anything. She just so happened to be chilling on the beach for the past month, barely alive, and spouting some nonsense about how Victor Newman held her hostage, blah, 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 blah. Right before Victor let Jordan out of the cage, Jordan was vowing revenge on the entire Newman family. Duh. Like, obvi. And we all know that there ain't no mountain high enough to keep her from breaking loose and coming after them all once again. And I don't know. Everybody has taken the news pretty well, but wait till Summer finds out that Jordan is still alive, because I am wondering if that's going to affect her decision about Clarison. That's how I'm going to refer to Claire and Harrison from now on. Clarison. It's perfect. Don't try to stop me. Oh. But I mean, if I'm Summer and a homicidal maniac who kidnapped my son is now alive and definitely plotting revenge, then I certainly would not want one of her targets doing art projects and eating healthy snacks with my kid. Then again, I am obviously not on the same parenting page as the citizens of Genoa Junction, so I don't know. Summer may just be feeling generous and forgiving these days. She has let Claire into her home. She has let Sally into her business, and she has given Chelsea a leave of absence. I really liked the scene where Summer and Sally hashed it out. They were like, hey, we're both not that person anymore. It's a double not that person anymore. And let's face it, I need you and you need me, and so let's just forget the past and move fashion forward. Get it? Move fashion forward. That's what I'm hoping. And then we'll maybe actually see some fashion. That would be nice. Okay, well, so now here's an unpopular opinion that I know that nobody will agree with. I was totally on board with Chloe's outrage at Sally. I kind of feel like Sally hung her out to dry. We're in business together. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. I'm a fashion designer. No, I'm an interior designer. No, I'm a fashion designer again. And then Sally just announcing that she has another job potentially lined up. I was like, ew, rude. I don't know. I mean, it's not as if Chloe hasn't been rude to Sally all this time, but I mean, in this isolated incident, I didn't blame Chloe one bit for being like, all right, goodbye. I'm walking out of here. I thought Chloe handled it pretty well. She said, hey, no hard feelings. I hope it works out for you, but since you're clearly looking out for you, then I gotta look out for me. Yeah. Does Kevin still work at the Genoa City police station? Because, you know, now Chloe's gonna be out of work. I hope they have some money saved up. But things are working out for Sally, and Sally is more of our main character here. Sally's got a new job at Marchetti, and this week she also has a new home. All right. I say goodbye, athletic club. Yeah. Adam has asked Sally to move in with him to make his apartment their home. She could even redecorate it if she wants to. I love it. I thought that was great. I loved the moment where he handed her the key with the little button on it, and it's adorable. They're adorable. And Adam and Sally also had a lovemaking scene this week. Finally. Because every time I think of Adam and Sally, I think, they used to be fire. Adam and Sally used to be fire. Good times or bad times, it didn't matter. It was fire. And lately, it's just been ice. So I would love to see a little bit of happiness for these two, or a lot. And I want that for Chelsea too. Billy's back in town this week, and he did come see Chelsea just before she and Adam went for another visit with Connor. So I'm glad that he's there for her. But then now Billy also has his own grief to deal with, because Jill had a video call with Billy this week to let him know that the reason she's stepping back at Chancellor Winters is because she is having heart problems. But Snapper is there taking care of her. Whoa, 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 whoa! When was the last time we even heard Jill say the name Snapper? She hasn't spoken of him in years. It was actually kind of jarring. I was like, what? What? Huh? Are you acknowledging the past right now? Oh, yeah, but I didn't watch during the Snapper era, so I don't have my own personal connection to the character. I only know through knowing the history of the show, but I still like the idea of them being together in their old age, looking out for each other. And yeah, I think it all makes sense now. Jill's decision to put Billy in charge at Chancellor Winters. I mean, if I'm 70 years old, who needs this business drama, especially if it's going to exacerbate your heart condition? So, I mean, yes, why not let your son take over? But now what this really does is set up Billy's motivation. Now Billy's really got motivation. Now Billy's got Jill's legacy to protect. He's gonna want her to see her company thriving under his leadership in her golden years. And I think Billy is going to want to take Chancellor Winters to a whole new place, to whole new heights, to show Jill that he's got what it takes to make her proud. And shoving it all in Devon's face will just be icing on the cake. Kids worry about their parents too. That was last week's Who Said It quote. I really did not expect so many people to have caught that moment, but it was Nick who said it. He was talking to Nikki right after she got out of rehab, and he was saying he's relieved to have her home. Kids worry about their parents too, and that's so true, And I guess maybe a lot of people tuned into that moment because it is just so true. I mean, that's what love is. Right? I mean, it's a two-way street. The parent worries about the child worries about the parent. Yeah. So I cannot believe as many people got this as did. So I got to give shout outs to Brittany, Ron, Hannah, Kayla Rose, Justin, Wonderful Wendy, Jackie, Dolores, Tony, Henry, Juanita, Tommy, Sharon W., Connie, Tanya, Tanya, and Heather. I think I got everybody. Boy, I hope so. That was a long list. And I type them all out individually. I save them all individually. We're not very high-tech here at Y&R Chat in some ways. So, yeah, congratulations. And, boy, here's a new one for you. Let's see if as many people were tuned into this. Who said it? Don't be stupid, sweetheart. Don't be stupid, sweetheart. Who said it? If you think you know, you should go to yrchat.com, leave your guess there, and if you get it right, then I will come back next week and give you your shout out for it during next week's Y&R Chat. All right, now let's talk about last week's poll. Are Adam and Chelsea doing right by Connor? Well, 63% of you say no. Adam and Chelsea are making things worse. 37% of you say yes. Adam and Chelsea are doing the best that they can. Tanya voted no. Adam and Chelsea are not doing right by Connor because every time I see Adam and Chelsea, I keep saying, Adam and Chelsea, go get your kid. They can try to help Connor and be there for him and even have him go to a therapy weekly. Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. I think the majority of people are like, no, go get him, bring him home. But Naomi says, I voted that they are doing the best they can. They have put Connor in the care of the best that money can buy. Adam and Chelsea have put their trust in this treatment plan, and I hope for their sake it's successful. I worry that Connor is slipping further into the OCD and may not be able to function normally. I'm learning as we go on this story. Now that we know the story has a personal connection to the writers, I don't want to say something wrong. I have no idea what it would be like in this situation. Yeah, Naomi, I mean, I don't know what it would be like in this situation either. And that's the funny thing about parenting is, like, I think everybody's sort of, you can't judge how other people are parenting really because you're not in that situation. All we can do is say, well, this is what I would do. But even so, it's like you don't really know until you're in that situation. So I think that's a good point. And here's one from Connie who says, this poll wasn't a yes or no for me. I do think Adam and Chelsea are doing the best they can, but they're also making it worse by isolating the child. There are treatment centers that do restrict visitation during the intake process. However, they do incorporate family counseling into the treatment plan and much quicker when a minor is involved. I was relieved to hear that Adam and Chelsea were making plans to go for an extended visit to conduct family therapy. Yeah, it seems like that's what they're doing now. That's where they're going now. And it seems like they've left. They had the suitcases. So they're right now having therapy with Connor. And I think this is a good answer, too, from Connie. They're not doing what I would do, but maybe they are doing the best that they can. And how about this? Great answer from Sue W., who says, Chelsea and Adam may well be wrong, or they may well be right, but they are each giving genuine and desperate love and support to Connor, and that's all I can respect. Yeah, that is a great answer, Sue W. They're maybe not doing what I would do, but they are trying, and they are giving love to Connor, giving respect to each other. So, yeah, maybe it's not quite as black and white. It's funny, and too, it's like thinking about the quote, kids worry about their parents too. Nick said that to Nikki, but I mean, I think that Connor has probably spent so much of his childhood worrying about his parents too, that maybe everything just became so hyper-focused for him. And yeah, obviously he needs training to help cope with that. We'll see how it all shakes out next week. I'm hoping that we can pull this out of a nosedive and get to a happier place with Connor. Well, Sharon W. says, the last scene on Tuesday's show with Adam engaging in an earnest prayer for help brought tears to my eyes. We have all asked for help for our children, other loved ones, friends, and ourselves. It's a human condition to reach out for help. Thanks to Y&R for boldly writing this humble and touching scene for Mark Grossman that the viewers could identify with. Yes, Sharon W. I know. When I saw Adam come out to the couch and, the picture of Connor is there and he's praying for Connor that he will be safe. He wants a better life for his son. He wants the best for his son. And I just was thinking, oh, Adam's so great. Mark Grossman's so great. This is why I like him. This is why I love him. This is a great moment. I mean, in amongst a storyline that I don't like, there's this great moment of Adam / Mark Grossman that I do like, and I'm like, oh, I want more of this. I want more of this, because he was just so sensitive and so easy to connect with, and just that grief. That's such a talent to be able to just convey that the way that he did. It was amazing. And Dolores says, today the two men I care a lot about, Tucker and Adam, tugged my heart for them. Tucker first having a hostile confrontation with Jack, and then more importantly, his talk with Audra. You could hear the pain in his voice as he let her know that her plans to gain footing with Glissade won't happen, reminding her that she left him. You could tell that he loves her, but he will not let her further hurt him personally or in business. However, the biggest heart tug was Adam. His prayer to find a way to do whatever as a father to save his son was a tear-jerker. Kudos to Mark Grossman. He knocked it out of the park, portraying the pain of a father trying to find a way that's best for his son. Ugh, yes, totally heartbreaking. And also, Dolores brings up another heartbreaking topic that's not a Y&R topic, but Dolores says, again, General Hospital has suffered another loss of an amazing actor, Johnny Wachter. He died in a fatal shooting after coming upon some men attempting to steal a part from his automobile. Ironically, real life has come into being from his last performance on the soap in his real life, R-E-E-L life. The character was fatally killed almost like now when he came upon a serial killer attempting to end the life of another character. He was a dream to watch perform, and the General Hospital family again is devastated over his death. He will be truly missed in the soap acting world. Yeah, Dolores, I'm glad you mentioned this because I probably wouldn't have heard about it otherwise, but I guess Johnny Wachter played Brando on General Hospital. Again, I'm not familiar with him, but you mentioning this prompted me to look it up, and it's just so horrifying. It sounds like he was maybe doing a bartending job that ended late. And as he was leaving his job and going out to his car, he was with a coworker. He saw some people around his car doing something, and he thought that maybe it was getting towed or something, like maybe they were putting a boot on the car. So he approached, and as they got closer, they realized that it was, I think they said, two guys trying to had the car jacked up or something, and were trying to steal his catalytic converter off the car, which apparently is a very expensive car part because it contains platinum. But so they were trying to steal the part off of his car, and according to the coworker that was with him, he, kind of had his hands up in a peaceful manner, but also asserted that this is his car, this is my car, and it just sounds like, without provocation in any way, the thief/murderer shot him at point blank range, very, very close range. And got away, and Johnny just died on the spot, and like with his coworker, and I think the manager of the bar came out to try to help, and I can't believe that. It's just to me, I'm trying to wrap my brain around killing someone over a car part, and just how horrible for Johnny losing his life, for how horrible for the coworker who was with him, how traumatic for the coworker who was with him, and how horrible for Johnny's family, because who knows if these two people the murderer will ever be caught. Who knows? I mean, these types of thefts happen in California a lot, apparently. Apparently it's up like 400% or something, and most catalytic converter thefts happen in California, and I don't know exactly why that particular stat is true, but what are the odds that they're ever even going to find this person, and how could you continue to live with yourself for doing something so awful? And it's like, talking about people with psychological problems or mental health issues, and it's like, what happened to you? What's your frame of mind that you would do something like that you would kill somebody over a car part? And also just, I'm sure probably drugs are involved, so you're probably high on drugs when you're doing this, and it's just blah, it just happens. Probably, I mean, the coworker said it just all happened so quickly, and I don't know, that just sent me down a spiral. Yes, an off-topic spiral, Dolores, because it is just so awful, and I know a lot of Y&R fans also do watch General Hospital, and so I'm just so sorry that happened. That's just it's just inconceivable. It's almost inconceivable. So I'm hoping that the person is caught and brought to justice, brought to pay for that action. Well, speaking of people who belong in prison, Jordan is in a maximum security prison now, but honestly, for how long? Gary says, if Chancellor was still a cop, how mad would he be that the Newmans were taking the law into their own hands yet again? I think this is a great question, Gary, because where is Chancellor? Yeah, I think he's exactly the person who would need to sniff out Victor's story around Jordan. And also, even seeing Summer in the park, I was like, wait a minute, aren't they together? Shouldn't he be having some cutesy patootsy scenes with Summer? And shouldn't Chance be involved at some of the Chancellor Winters drama? Chance seems like he's got 3 places where he could be inserted in the show right now, and he's not. Why is that? Well, Henry says, many in Genoa City will question Jordan's miraculous survival, with Nikki being the first. I just hope that once it becomes public knowledge that it won't cause Summer to change her mind about giving Claire the job as Harrison's nanny. Yeah, I wonder if it will. That's a good question. Sherrod says, what I found very interesting is that Claire chose not to tell Kyle and Summer that her Auntie Jordan is actually still alive. This just makes me even more certain that Claire is not to be trusted. Yeah, that was my instinct too, Sherrod, as I thought, well, why didn't Claire tell them? But then when Victor came by, he said that he had asked her not to say anything, that he wanted to be the one to tell the family. So I guess that makes sense. Sharon W. says, this is how Victor works his mind games on the people he has grudges against. He sat down at the table with Diane to ask her how it feels having Jack and Kyle in charge instead of her. And he also reminds her that Jack is weak and that she used to be strong. And then he speaks to Kyle at the Abbott mansion, asking him if he would like to be in charge instead of his mom and dad. He even tells Kyle that he thinks he is the closest to being what John Abbott was like. And he has already warned Jack about working with Nikki again. So Victor is working all 3 of them against each other. This is all because he's angry at Jack for putting Nikki in danger, according to Victor. This is how he will get back at Jack for not protecting Nikki adequately. I was so hoping, I really thought he was going to unleash Jordan on him. I thought that would have been far more entertaining, but you're right. I mean, Sharon W., you just laid that out in a way that I had not considered. You really, I mean, you got into the Victor Newman mind with this comment, because you're so right. He was so active at laying seeds on Friday. Naomi says, Victor visited the Abbotts with the news about the Jordan River crossing and enjoyed cookies with his great-grandson. He had a paper napkin placed on his knee for catching crumbs. Then he stopped by the athletic club to remind Diane to stop being a weakling and become her old Viper self. Victor then fires Michael Baldwin on his way out. Welcome back, Victor. Let the mind games begin. Yes, I really enjoyed that as well. Welcome back, Victor. It was nice seeing him doing something, moving the plot, being Victor Newman, seeing his wheels turning. But I am wondering if Diane and Jack are going to be able to survive this. And that's my poll question for you this week. Do you think that Diane and Jack's marriage is going to survive, or is this the beginning of the end? YRChat.com. Let's get some talk around Diane and Jack's marriage going right now. Are they going to make it, or are we losing them after not even very long? I don't know. I think they'll survive, but that might just be wishful thinking. Brent says, I have never liked or respected Diane more. She's drawing a line in the sand and holding Jack accountable in a way that spouses are supposed to. The idea that Nikki would still ask Jack to be her sponsor and that he would so easily accept is beyond reckless. And think about what Victor's reaction will be. Yeah, I think you wrote this comment before Victor's reaction, but he didn't like it either. Bottom line is, Jack and Nikki continued Jack and Nikki's continued near intimate relationship is a threat to both of their marriages. Diane saw it and finally spoke directly and plainly to him about it. He needed that. In marriage, it's often easier to bottle up one's feelings and feel resentment and suspicion. So I'm proud of Diane. Yes, Brent. Yes. So, and I think this is really an interesting nuance, because it's not that there's romance going on between Nikki and Jack, but it is intimacy. You're saying it's near intimate. And I mean, yeah, come on. They were married, which is another reason he never should have been her sponsor in the first place. They've been romantic, they've been married, they've been sexual, they've been all of that. There's no way he could have been a neutral party. She needed a third party in the first place, and I totally agree that Diane was right to put her foot down. And now how about this wow comment from Naomi, who says, Diane is showing restraint around Nikki. Maybe she's seeing that Jack just isn't a long-term relationship guy, just like he's always been. He's altering his whole life to accommodate Nikki. He's neglecting Diane. He's ineffective at helping Ashley, and clueless about the tension between his wife and their son. He is fascinated with Nikki, and I think he will soon revive the Newman Abbott wars. Jack is not one to just sit back and enjoy life for any length of time. He's looking for a conflict at every turn. He can't battle Ashley right now, but he's continuing to spar with Tucker for no apparent reason. I think Diane should go after Tucker or even Victor right after she tells Jack to kiss off. Naomi, oh my gosh, this is so good. I can't handle it. Because I'm sorry, but you nailed it when you say maybe Jack's just not a long-term relationship guy, just like he's always been. I mean, ooh, damn. Maybe. Because I never really thought about it before, but you're right that he is totally clueless to what's going on between Diane and Kyle. He's not, like, listening to Diane, and, like, she had to threaten to leave him to even get him to wake up at all, and I don't think he still even came around to her opinion. He just gave in for the betterment of the marriage. And Ashley, yeah, he's definitely not involved in anything with her therapy as intimately as Tracy is. So yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, Jack is focused on nothing but Nikki. And what did you call it? You said that he's fascinated with her. Yeah. Maybe he's a little bit obsessed with her. I don't know. Ooh, that's a great comment. Okay, new topic. Daisy says, I would love to see Jill sell her company to Victor and use some of the money to help Billy start his own company. Maybe something with Chelsea. And then Lily and Devon will have to deal with Victor Newman. They may then realize that Billy was not as bad as they thought, but it'll be too late, as Victor will want the Newman name on everything. Oh, okay, I love this because I just think Chancellor Winters, I don't know, that business, like, almost, it needs to be owned by someone who's on the show regularly, because it just feels like Jill's never on, and the video calls just don't pack the punch. I wish the owner of the company was on the show, someone like Victor who's on regularly, or I don't know. Yeah, I'm not opposed to selling the company. Maybe Chance would be a good owner. He's the only Chancellor. He's the Chancellor, right? Well, Gary says, the hovering snapper is not Jill's brother. Y&R saw to that. She needs to be with her real family. Call Lauren Fenmore. Preposterous. That is so funny. I just don't, all of the twists of Jill's paternity and maternity, I don't know. You're right. So technically, Snapper's not her brother. Why wouldn't she call Lauren her sister? And Naomi says, why would we hear about Dr. Snapper Foster after all this time? It's handy to give Jill an illness so that she needs her brother, but it's just jarring to hear him mentioned. Jill should introduce her son to Snapper and Greg, the uncles he never met. Why did they not just recast Snapper? I don't know. Yeah, it was very just like, plunk, plunk. We're just going to plunk that down into the middle of the scene. Names that we haven't heard in decades. Well, here's another name that we have not heard in a while. Diana says, "Where is Elena? She has been MIA for a while. I hope that we find out that Elena has secretly been plotting revenge on Nate after their very bitter breakup. This would be a very unexpected plot twist. I still remember Elena telling Nate that his relationship with Victoria would blow up in his face. Not exactly those words. But I haven't forgotten how angry Elena was with Nate. She could also be motivated by her resentment toward Devon's betrayal and feeling slighted by all the men. Elena could be the new villain on the show now that Aunt Jordan is finally going away for good to prison, it seems. Now it's Elena's turn. Good girl turned bad. It would be compelling to see Elena stalking Nate, as we've seen her creep in his social media page and secretly following him around to find out his whereabouts. When Elena sees Nate with Audra, this agitates her even more, as she's never liked Audra and he never trusted her. It would be fun to see Elena slowly make Audra and Nate's life miserable by doing various misdeeds. Nobody messes with Elena. That's so good, Diana. And it would be such a great, like, twisty turn personality on her character, because Elena was always very understanding, relatable. She was just your everyday girl. She was just like me and you. And to twist her into nobody messes with Elena would be so, so good. Does anybody know her contract status? She's just gone. It seemed like it was very quiet, like she just slipped away one day. I don't know. Well, Daisy says, it looks like Alan has a twin. He must have posed as Alan and hurt Ashley, and that likely sent her into a spiral where she developed the split personalities. They may figure this out if Tucker asks Alan why he walked past him. Then they'll realize it wasn't Alan after all. Also, maybe it was Audra that hired the twin to get Ashley to believe that Tucker is wrong for her and that Alan is. And Audra did it to get Ashley out of Tucker's life so that she could swoop in and attain his businesses for herself. But the twin overdid the con and almost killed Ashley, and that's when the alternate selves were created to protect her. Of course, that'll all change when Ashley finds out it was Audra who set the stage to hurt her, and knowing that it was Audra may bring the real Ashley back fully and completely, who then, without fear, will confront Audra. Oh, I love that. I love the idea that Audra was behind it as a gaslighting all along. That's a good twist. Tanya says, I'm shocked that Ashley held it together and did not let her other personalities take over this week. She was so strong, and I'm so proud of her for being strong and not letting them take over. Yeah, she did good, right? She held it all at bay this week. We'll see if she will continue to do so. Victoria says, I like Alan. If written a little different, he could mix it up in Genoa City. He could come out of retirement to open a limited practice with Sharon, and we could have a new triangle with Alan and Sharon and Tracy. Alan would appeal to Tracy because of his interesting background and how he's trying to help Ashley. I've been waiting a long time for Tracy to have a love interest. The time is now. Yes, Victoria, yes. I was thinking that a couple weeks ago. I kept thinking, boy, Tracy's having all these scenes with Alan. Maybe there'll be a little spark of love interest there. Okay, final comment here from Connie, who says, yeah, we are in Paris and we have 2 new sets that are bright and pleasant. And one of my favorite constants on this show are the use of their fabulous floral arrangements that add such beauty to the sets. Oh, Connie, yes, I couldn't pass this comment up because it is the floral arrangements have always been such a standout feature of Y&R for me. I mean, I love flowers in general. And I can remember being a teen watching the show in the summer and just being fascinated by their fresh floral arrangements on all of the sets. And I think those are the touches that really, really bring the show to life, that really make it all feel real. So let's hope they don't switch it to green screen. Whew, I'm hot. All that chatting made me hot. I need to go take a dip in the pool. I need to get poolside. Have you guys been to the Y&R Chat poolside episode yet? Oh my goodness, I took you all the way back to 1994 with Sharon and her birthday party. I took you back to 1999 with Cassie's adoption pool party. I took you to 2005 with Gloria's 4th of July barbecue. I gave you a cat fight by the pool with Nikki and Sharon, which is a really, really good one. I gave you a cat fight between Lily and Hillary by the pool. I gave you Lola's almost death by the pool. And I gave you Kyle's birthday suit. If you haven't been to that poolside party, you got to go to GenoaCitySoap.com to get it, because it is good. I love summer, and I love summer Y&R. These green screens, they concern me. I want to feel that, I want the rooftop set. Even if it's not real water, I just want some reflections of water on their faces. Please, Y&R, give us the dive bar. The green screens are fine for the on-the-street kind of shots. All right, I accept that. But we need a summer set. Can you even imagine Y&R building an actual pool set with actual water today? That would be a miracle. But they used to do it. That's why I thought that would be a good episode, because I'm like, oh gosh, just remember sitting by the poolside, out by the pool house, in the backyard of the Abbott Mansion or the ranch. Like, those were the days, man. The money went into the sets in those days. It's just different now, I guess. Just so different. Oh, well. Different, but different's not bad. It's still good. So go to yrchat.com to leave your comments about the show. Thank you, everybody, for your 16th anniversary comments. Oh, it was so lovely just to read that. And hearing from people that I hear from all the time, hearing from people that I don't hear from very often. It was all just so much. I got so much love last week, and it definitely gave me a nice boost, a nice perk. So just know I love your comments. Thank you so much. And I love Y&R Chat. I will be back next Sunday to do it again. And the Sunday after that. And the Sunday after that. All right. I love you guys. I hope you have a really good week. And I will see you next time.